Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a welfare check turns to a death investigation at a Victoria apartment.
DPS troopers will be on high alert this holiday season, how to avoid seeing lights in your rear view as you celebrate.
Plus, the Supreme Court will decide whether a controversial ban on the social media app TikTok violates the First Amendment.
And good evening, everybody. Things are very different tonight. The cold front came through right at about lunchtime. Now we've got a north wind and it's going to be cooler for the next few days. We'll talk about it and take a look at your extended outlook all the way to Christmas Day coming up.
And the Shiner Comanches, they played the 2A Division II state championship tonight versus the Munster Hornets. Will they get the dub? I'll tell you that, and I'll give you highlights coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Don Brubaker. A death investigation is underway after Victoria police find a person dead inside an apartment.
25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman joins us with what we know now. Amaya.
Yes, Shawna and Don, thank you. The Victoria police were called around 3 o'clock this afternoon to a unit of the Crossroads Department in the 1500 block of East Guadalupe Street. The call was for a welfare concern. When they arrived, they found a person dead in the apartment, turning it into a death investigation. A justice of the peace has ordered an autopsy to learn more. Authorities have not released the person's gender, name, or age since the ongoing investigation is still in the early stages. In October, first responders found a 49-year-old Jerry Ramos at the same apartment complex in cardiac arrest. He later died. His cause of death hasn't been released. Sean and Don, back to you.
Amaya, thank you. A Victoria man charged with human smuggling also faces 2 charges from earlier this year. Victoria police arrested 25-year-old Demetrios Jerry on a charge of trafficking of a child, prostitution, forced labor. That charge is out of Dallas County. Jerry was already facing 2 charges in Victoria County, including family violence and illegally carrying a weapon. Jerry is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $117,500 bond. We do recover. It's a phrase gaining popularity on a West Texas Facebook page called Lubbock County Mugshots.
Brittany Crittenden has a look at how that 3-word phrase is proving for many there is life beyond that single snapshot.
Daniel Woolridge loves his life. He's got a great job, a great girl, and plays in a band on the weekends.
I have so many amazing friends and family and just a lot of really cool stuff that I think, you know, as I was looking at my mugshot, I was like thinking back to who I was then, and like I was just totally broken and hopeless, you know.
Yes, you heard that right, his mugshot. Like so many others, it was posted to a Facebook page for thousands to see. He struggled with a drug addiction in college and was arrested several times before going to treatment and getting help.
Did I need people holding me accountable? Absolutely. Do we need to hold people accountable for their wrongdoings? For sure. But I think without knowing that there's hope in that, that's pointless. Because we all have, every person who's experienced addiction has an immense amount of shame and guilt for the things they've done to keep that addiction going, who they are, the places they've been, all that, right? And so if they can just get a little hope, you know, I think they can hopefully find some help.
Lubbock County Mugshots has been trying to give some of that hope. It's posted several We Do Recover stories, like Daniel's and Tiffany Pitcock's.
I got tired of seeing all the negative on there. It's like, I'm going to say it's possible. And I sent them my mugshots and they posted it.
Tiffany spent 3 years in federal prison for a drug-related crime after battling addiction for several years.
At first, whenever I was in the county, I was really upset about that. I was like, they didn't even give me anything that was mine. Like, why am I in here? But if I look back on it now, I think it was a divine intervention that saved my life.
Knowing everything she struggled with before her mugshot, Tiffany has empathy for those who end up on the page.
I mean, I was once in their shoes, so I'm going to pray for them. I'm going to pray really hard for them. You may have never even been down that road, so you have no idea what it's even about.
She's now living in Midland, sober, working full-time, and trying to mend relationships with her family. Daniel went back to school and now works as a counselor at Fire Sky Recovery here in Lubbock.
I love being on this side of things. I love seeing these guys come in here totally beat down, totally just, they're going through withdrawal, they're not doing so hot. And then give them a few days, a few weeks, they gain a little good weight, they start laughing, the light comes on in their eyes, and I just fell in love with that. Like that, to me, was so real, and I just found so much purpose in that.
While you may only see that darkest moment, these stories prove there can be more to life than a mugshot.
But it's possible. It can be done. We do recover.
And Daniel Woolridge featured in this story wants anyone who's battling issues to know that there are several groups within many communities that can help. Texas DPS troopers are hitting the roads for their annual holiday traffic enforcement campaign. They'll be watching for drivers who are speeding, not wearing a seatbelt, driving under the influence, or breaking other traffic laws, including the move over or slow down law. If you see flashing lights, make sure to move over a lane or slow down to at least 20 miles below the posted speed limit. The increased enforcement will start Friday, going through New Year's Day.
HEB hosted their 34th Feast of Sharing event at the Victoria Community Center. HEB has hosted for the state of Texas in general for 38 years. There were 500 volunteers serving about 5,000 people, making sure that people are fed and that Christmas spirit was felt throughout the atmosphere.
Our message this evening is just enjoy a holiday meal with us. Thank you for being a part of the community and part of HEB. We appreciate everything that the community does for us and supports us. This is just our way of giving back during the holiday season.
She is filled with joy as she and HEB ensures that people's stomachs are full this holiday season. Ordnance Man 3rd Class Russell Moorhead from Yorktown conducts maintenance aboard the Nimitz-class aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln. The carrier is conducting routine operations in the U.S. 3rd Fleet area in the Indo-Pacific. That fleet works in close coordination with other numbered fleets to provide commanders with capable, ready forces to win in day-to-day competition, in crisis, and in conflict. Hopefully we don't have much of that last part coming up the next year.
Absolutely. So, well, taking a look outside at our weather, that chill has come back into the air and the humidity is gone. So let's check in with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Matt Perez to see what we can expect overnight. Matt.
Well, thank you very much. Finally, it's going to feel a little bit more like December. Cool nights or chilly nights and sunny, mild days. Here's that north wind that came in right at lunchtime, right on schedule. It came through, dropped a few drops here and there, but nothing substantial. And of course, it's all gone now. Now the dry air is going to lose its temperature. And so we're getting down to the 40s tonight. We'll have a look at that and your 7-day forecast coming up.
Thank you, Mac. Governor Greg Abbott is expected to discuss a new border security plan at a news conference Thursday at Eagle Pass. Wednesday, Governor Abbott announced over $500 million in grants for public safety programs throughout the state, including border security and anti-human trafficking efforts.
Texas has big goals for college completion, but in places like the Coastal Bend, how to get there is still murky. To read the full Texas Tribune article, visit our website, crossroadstoday.com.
A case involving a Texas man pardoned by Governor Abbott earlier this year is back in the courtroom this week. Daniel Perry's attorneys are fighting to throw out an indictment for a separate misdemeanor charge he's facing. Earlier this year, Governor Abbott pardoned Perry after he was convicted of murder for shooting and killing Garrett Foster during a Black Lives Matter protest in 2020. But Perry still faces a misdemeanor charge of deadly conduct for his reported actions on the night of the shooting.
The Supreme Court is now set to hear arguments over the constitutionality of a law that would ban the social media platform TikTok if not sold to an American company.
And under the law, TikTok must be sold in just over a month from now.
The TikTok ban now headed to the highest court in the land. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court saying it will hear arguments next month over a potential ban of TikTok if the platform is not sold to an American company. Of concern is that TikTok, owned by Chinese company ByteDance, could allow the Chinese government to collect data and manipulate the content of American users. TikTok CEO, who met with President-elect Trump this week, insists his company does not share Americans' data.
I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data. They have never asked us. We have not provided.
In TikTok's emergency appeal to the Supreme Court, it says a ban will shutter one of America's most popular speech platforms and violates the First Amendment. TikTok claims to have over 170 million users in the U.S. and says cutting off access to the app would violate its users' rights. But the clock is ticking. If the Supreme Court upholds a ban, it will take effect one day before President-elect Trump takes office. Trump, once a TikTok critic, now seeming to side with TikTok, praising the app for helping him win over younger voters and win re-election.
How do you plan to stop the ban on TikTok next month?
We'll take a look at TikTok. You know, I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok.
In a statement, TikTok responded today saying, quote, "We are pleased with today's Supreme Court order. We believe the court will find the TikTok ban unconstitutional." Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
By the way, CNN is reporting that the U.S. is investigating potential national security risks posed by internet routers. This brings us to our viewer poll today. Should the federal government ban TikTok if its parent company does not sell it? Yes, national security outweighs free speech, or no, it violates the First Amendment. Overwhelmingly, and this has been consistent all day long, now 73% say the federal government should ban TikTok if its parent company does not sell it. We thank you for voting, and we want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part.
And remember to subscribe to our Crossroads Today YouTube channel. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, some relief for borrowers just in time for the holiday shopping season. The Federal Reserve slashes interest rates for the third time this year. What this means for your wallet.
Also ahead, CVS faces legal trouble again. It's accused of enabling the opioid epidemic with dangerously high prescriptions. A bill backed by Paris Hilton passed through Capitol Hill with bipartisan support. Both the House and Senate approved the Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act, first introduced in 2023. Hilton, who has spoken out about abuse she endured at a troubled teen boarding school, made multiple trips to D.C. to rally support. The bill calls for more federal oversight and transparency in youth residential programs, along with stronger protections for kids in those facilities. After the bill passed the House, Hilton shared a statement emphasizing that speaking out can bring change. The bill now heads to President Biden for approval. A major announcement from the Federal Reserve today, slashing interest rates for the third time this year, something most economists have been predicting.
ABC's Lionel Moyes reports on the new benchmark and how that impacts borrowing.
Some relief for borrowers in the midst of the holiday shopping season. The Federal Reserve slashed its benchmark interest rate for the third time this year, cutting interest rates by 1/4 percentage point. Fed Chair Jerome Powell making the announcement this afternoon.
With today's action, we have lowered our policy rate by a full percentage point from its peak. and our policy stance is now significantly less restrictive.
This follows a cut of 1/4 of a percentage point last month and a larger than usual half-point cut back in September. This as the central bank dials back its fight against inflation.
Bringing those borrowing costs down for households and for businesses. Think about your credit card rates, your auto loan rates.
While inflation overall has been trending down, Americans are still feeling the impact with 2 consecutive months of rising inflation. Last month's consumer price index showed prices rose 2.7% compared to this time last year.
Remember, it was at 9% in June of 2022. So we're getting closer to the Fed's 2% target. Food and energy over the span of a few years, we're still paying a lot more for, and that's a consideration for the Fed.
This was the final interest rate decision before the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump, who has been at odds with Fed Chair Jerome Powell since his first term in office. Trump has said the president should have a role in setting interest rates, which would be a major shift from the norm of the Federal Reserve being politically independent. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
A long-running legal battle over South Carolina's attempt to cut Medicaid funding for Planned Parenthood is heading to the U.S. Supreme Court. The case stems from a 2018 executive order aimed at blocking Medicaid patients from using Planned Parenthood for non-abortion services like cancer screenings and birth control. Planned Parenthood and a patient sued, arguing the order violates federal law. After several failed attempts to defend the order in court, South Carolina's case was sent back for review by the appeals court. The Supreme Court has yet to announce a hearing date.
CVS is facing a lawsuit from the Department of Justice. The complaint, just unsealed, accuses CVS of violating the Federal Controlled Substances Act by filling prescriptions for dangerously high doses of opioids and risky drug combinations. The company is also accused of billing federal health programs for these prescriptions, contributing to the nationwide opioid addiction and overdose crisis. In 2022, CVS agreed to pay nearly $5 billion over 10 years to settle similar claims from state, local, and tribal governments, though they did not admit wrongdoing as part of that deal. Well, conspiracy theories are everywhere these days, but a quick chat with AI could help people reconsider their questionable beliefs.
Artificial intelligence could be a useful tool in the fight against conspiracy theories. As many as 50% of Americans believe in conspiracy theories, and a new study suggests that chatting with an AI may be the solution. Researchers at MIT developed a ChatGPT powered with evidence based on facts and logic. They found that talking with the AI reduced conspiratorial beliefs by as much as 20%. It even worked for people who felt strongly about their views and for those who subscribed to as many as 15 widespread conspiracy theories. The information given by the chatbot was truthful 99% of the time, according to researchers. They suggest additional studies are needed to determine whether a truth bot would be effective at changing people's minds outside the lab. Until then, try to fact-check everything you read with reliable sources. It may give you a different perspective. With this Medical Minute, I'm Zoreen Shah.
Well, good evening, everybody. We're down to 56 degrees already. We're getting down into the 40s tonight. Big difference because we had that cold front that came through right about noontime. We managed to get up to 85 just before it blew through. And of course, that's not exactly what we expect. It's another record high for the date because the old record was 84. Finally, we're getting back to more traditional weather for this time of the year. Temperatures will be cooler, and we only had 0.02 of an inch of rain in that frontal passage. More on your forecast, and we'll take a look all the way to Christmas Day coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everyone. Yes, it's going to be cooler for the next few days as that north wind blew in right at about noontime. Didn't get much in terms of rainfall, but a few little sprinkles occurred in our area. Might have gotten your car, splotchy, but that's pretty much over with now. The north wind is coming in. It continues pumping in cool, dry air. Meanwhile, this frontal system producing some shower activity, but it's about to move offshore. Right here in the Midwest, a snowstorm is developing. You can see it right about there with all that pink stuff. That's going to be headed toward the Midwest throughout St. Louis, Chicago, and those areas. On the West Coast, quiet right now, but the big storm still offshore. For you, your temperatures are going to be very different finally. No more record high temperatures. We're looking at 45 to 68 on Thursday, 46 to 70 on Friday, and 39 to 67 on Saturday. As we take a look into Christmas week, we're looking at mild weather. We'll talk about that in a minute. Here are your lows for tonight. About 50 degrees down along the coast to the mid 40s in most inland areas. Hill country is where you'll be in the 30s. And tomorrow, lots of sun, beautiful sunshine, nice, cool, crisp day. It's a day where it's sunny in the sunshine and cool in the shade. So just consider that. We're going to be like that for about 3 days. Notice the future tracker takes that north wind, pushes all the cloud cover down, pushes it all the way into the Gulf. And so we're going to be looking at abundant sunshine for the next few days. In fact, through Friday on this map and all the way through Saturday. But by Saturday, you might have noticed that things start to change. By then, the Gulf air instead of a northeast wind, it'll be a southeast wind, and that pumps in that Gulf air, and all of a sudden we'll be back to cloudy skies and a little dampness here and there, but no significant rainfall. We'll talk more about that in the 7-day. Here's what it looks like across the country, and I'm going day by day so you can plan your travel, all right? Big snowstorm up here, and that's moving away. That's for Thursday. Clear skies over Texas, not so bad in the Midwest and not so bad out in western states. There's Friday, there's that big fast-moving snowstorm that I told you about. Clear weather over Texas. Everything's looking good as far as we go for travel through the entire weekend. In fact, things are looking good even after that. By the time we get to Saturday, though, while we're on the sunny side, the storm moves out and another one comes in the west. And then we're going to watch that storm really barrel across the Rockies to have some influence on us 7 days from now. But in the short term, here's Sunday. What happens here? Well, the Gulf air rolls back in. It goes over the cooler ground, and so we're going to get overcast skies and a little drizzle. Now, it may look a little heavier than that right there, but I don't think it'll be significant. I do think, however, on Tuesday, Christmas Day, is that Christmas Eve? Christmas Day? Yeah, one of those. We'll be looking at kind of damp weather around the area. So just consider that for driving because a lot of people are going to be on the road the next couple of days. And you got to know that by middle of next week, got a full-fledged snowstorm in the Rockies. So for tomorrow, sunny skies getting up to about 69 in the Port Lavaca area. Sunny skies in Cuero all day long. Northerly winds up to about 69. Not bad at all. So lovely for Thursday, Friday. Saturday is the first day of winter, believe it or not. Sunday, we start picking a little cloud cover. We get mild, a little damp, and a little drizzly as we get all the way into Christmas Day, which is on Wednesday. That is it from the 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads a day. The world awaits the score of the Shiner game. Max, take it away.
That's right there, Mac. After the break, I'm going to highlight Shiner Comanches their chance there in the 2A Division II state championship. Will they get that win? I'll highlight that and also highlight Goliad baseball star Finn Waylick signing to John Melvin Christian University coming up in sports. All right, everyone, we have reached that time here for the 2A Division II State Championship with the Shiner Comanches facing the Munster Hornets there in AT&T Stadium. Will Shiner get their 5th state title, or they fall short there to Munster? And again, this game here for Shiner, this is their 5th chance, like I said, here in the state championship game. And again, for Shiner, they wanted to get that win. Well, it didn't start off the way they wanted to because Munster opened off there, the touchdown there from Kason Carney. And again, Munster takes the early lead. But then Shiner, they found a way. They got a big-time play. Jarvis Williams, the freshman's made a lot of plays this season. Big-time pass there from Shooter to Jarvis Williams. And again, Shiner responds right back. And then Quincy Jones, how about this man? Making a couple plays, gets into the end zone. 74 yards that was there, resulting there in the touchdown. And Shiner, again, keeps getting on some scores. And then how about Carson Schutte tricking out the defense here? How about calls there his own number, goes into the end zone and right towards our camera right here, gets there the touchdown. And how about this though? Shiner made a lot of plays there, right? But Munster made a couple more, and Munster will get the win here there in the 2A Division II State Championship. Again, it was 29-28 there. Shiner there had a good chance. They were up there with a 2-point conversion, but Munster scored with about 4 minutes left to go, and they would get the win there, 36-29 there. And again, for Shiner, they will not get their chance there to win another state title there under head coach Daniel Bedeker, and a tough one there for the Comanches, but they have a lot of pieces returning there back here for next season. So we'll see what they can do though going into next year. Again, I think they're going to be a team to watch out for there in the 2A ranks. But now let's go over here to Goliad, where we got a signing there today there with baseball star Finn Waylick here. Again, he was quarterback there as well there for Goliad, but also plays baseball as well, and he signed his letter of intent to play at John Melvin Christian University. And Waylick was also the starting quarterback, like I mentioned, for Goliad. They went all the way to the regional semifinals here this year, and Waylick talks about how he feels about playing baseball at John Melvin.
Just can't wait. Can't wait to go all the way to Louisiana to bring just being a leader and just trying to lead the team and do what I do.
Again, he will head there to Louisiana, play some baseball there, and again in 2025 after he finishes senior year of baseball season. And staying here with Goliad, how about some volleyball honors there going up to, we kind of talked about Carolyn Youngblood. She got to the TJCA All-Star game there in July. Well, her and a couple teammates there, and Addison Gendry and Maven Wunsch, got selected there to, again, the TGCA All-State team there in 3A. Again, only 50 players are selected to the All-State tier, so congrats there to Youngblood, Gendry, and Maven Wunsch for being selected there from Goliad to represent the All-State team. And so, Don and Shawna, you saw there the highlights there for Shiner there facing the Munster Hornets in the state title. They just came up short there. Thought we had a chance, but tomorrow we do have Ganado facing Stanford, so see if they can turn it around here for the Crossroads here. That game again will be there Thursday at 11 a.m. Don, you got any early thoughts for that matchup tomorrow?
Well, I don't know much about Ganado this year, so it's hard for me to handicap this game, but you covered them, so what do you think?
I think, Don, it's going to be a close game, right? I think if you look at it, Ganado, they got the high-powered offense right there with Bryce Ullman, but I think Stanford, they're undefeated for a reason, right? So this is going to be a team to watch out for. It's going to be a back-and-forth game for sure. So that's kind of my rundown there, Don. You got, like I said, that's kind of what I have. Any other thoughts?
Go Ganado. We hope the Indians win tomorrow.
And a big congratulations to Shiner. They hung in there, they played tough, and it was a great game. So huge congratulations to them.
Heartbreaker, but they tried really hard. All right. Thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather, plus how Cora, a therapy dog, is making a big impact on first responders and winning national recognition.
Her name is Cora, and she is a very good dog. Cora is the therapy officer for the Asheville, North Carolina Police Department. After a year of hurricanes and flooding, Cora is getting national recognition with the First Responders Pause Therapy Award. Her handler says the award means more, even more, after everything that the first responders endured following Hurricane Helene. Cora helped officers cope with the stress and the anxiety through compression therapy, providing much needed calm after long days in the field. And I mean, who can be stressed out after looking at that adorable face?
Exactly.
The department hopes that Cora's success will encourage other agencies to invest in therapy dogs nationwide. I love the hat too.
Space Christmas, the final frontier. The cosmos appear to be getting ready for the holidays. NASA released 2 new images today. One is of a star cluster that resembles a space wreath. The image of a star cluster called NGC 602 in the Small Magellanic Cloud Galaxy, we know about that one, combines infrared data with a photo from the James Webb Telescope. The other image looks like a Christmas tree. It's a cluster of stars called NGC 2264. The stars here are also very young, as just 1 to 5 million years old. That makes them really young.
I think it looks more like the Grinch than a Christmas tree.
I agree.
The green there.
You're right.
Basically.
It's the Grinch for sure.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We don't need the Grinch.
No.
But we do need some good weather for the rest of the week.
We are good. We're dialed in real nice for the next few days. We've got some beautiful sunshine, cold mornings and sunny, mild days. And things are looking good through Christmas Day in terms of no ice and snow. But by the time we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's Christmas Day, we're going to be looking for cloud cover and a little bit of light drizzle possible. But temperatures in the mid-70s will be good because you're going to take your new Tonka truck and you can go out and play with that because that's what Santa's going to bring you.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for spoiling the surprise.
That's what you wished for.
Well, Captain Kirk, Axel Foley, Cheech Marin, and Tommy Chong are heading to Washington, and they're bringing Leatherface with them. The Library of Congress announced the 25 films selected for preservation this year. They include Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Beverly Hills Cop, Up in Smoke, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's a classic that I will never watch. Spy Kids, No Country for Old Men, American Me, and Dirty Dancing are also on the list. The Library of Congress preserves films for their culture, historic, or aesthetic importance. As of now, there are 900 films in the library's National Film Registry. So, Christmas Story maybe.
Yeah.
Should be added as a
that's
traditional
a great idea.
Christmas, Christmas movie. I don't know. It's one of my favorites.
Yes.
They could open their own channel. You know?
That would be good. All right, thanks for joining us.
25 new